Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today for our WoodmenLife Medicare Supplement e-application and product training. My name is Anna Patrick. I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at CSG Actuarial, and I have two special guests here with me today. I have Lance Larson, the Vice President of Additional Distribution at WoodmenLife, and I also have Josh Martin, who is the Partner Sales Manager with Integrity Marketing Group. So we have the trifecta here for you today. What an exciting day it is today. We recently launched WoodmenLife on our e-application tool just hours ago. That was the first thing I did when I came into the office here today, was turn it on for all of you. So we are so excited to have WoodmenLife on our e-application platform. We are the sole provider for the e-app for WoodmenLife. So you do have to use the CSG software to submit your e-applications. Today's training will walk you through how to do that, but also if you're not contracted yet with WoodmenLife or you want to know more about them, that is why I have Lance and Josh here with me to go through why WoodmenLife and then why talk about all the product details of the Medicare supplement plan. So I have just a couple of questions here before we get started, just to gauge all of the agents that I have on today's training. We'll go through these really quickly because we have a lot of content to cover here today. So just first question, if you have used the CSG quoting and enrollment platform before to submit your applications, I just like asking this ahead of time. That way I know how fast or how slow to go with you all on today's training. Our e-application, you can do applications for other carriers as well. So just curious if you have ever used our platform before, whether you use the CSG app inside Medicare Center or through your Integrity FMO's branding quoting tools. So 14% of you are saying yes, great. Another 14 yes, but only quoting, or a lot of you, you're new to CSG. So welcome. I'm so excited to have you all on today's training. I always say after you see the CSG tool, you're like, how did I not know about this before? So I am excited that we have a lot of new to CSG people on today's training. So again, welcome. I'll do a quick CSG overview when it is my time to present. Next question here for you is if you're currently contracted with WoodmenLife here today. I know the contracting just opened up last week. So if you are currently contracted today, great. If not, this is a great opportunity. Again, you have the trifecta here. You have Lance that's going to really tell you, the benefits of a WoodmenLife, and Josh going over all the product training. So you're going to get a lot of great information from us here today. 36% of you are saying yes. 63% of you are saying no. So good, we have a good mix here today. So thank you again for everybody's time. We do have the Q&A live. So if you have questions about WoodmenLife, if you have questions about the product, if you have questions about CSG and e-app, all three of us are here to answer the questions that you have. So before we really dive into the product training, I do just want to cover here quickly where you are accessing the quoting tool, because it is live today for you. So after the training here today, if you want to hop on and submit your first application, you know exactly how to do that. Sign into your Medicare Center account, or if you are using your Integrity FMO's branded CSG tools, sign into that. On the Medicare Center account, in the upper right-hand corner where your name is at, you have the CSG app. So you'll just go ahead and click on that CSG app, and it will say loading in the upper left-hand corner there. And then it will pull up the CSG software. So for those of you that are new to CSG, we do quote 100% of the Medicare supplement market. We do quote Medicare Advantage as well as other ancillary products. So when you are ready to do your application, just go ahead and hit that Medicare supplement run quote, enter in the zip code. Make sure that you do move your effective date forward to 8/1. And I'm going to go through this in my portion of the training too, but I just want to show you guys all here on the call how it is live and where you are going. Hitting that get quote, and then what I will do here is it's going to give you all the carriers that we do have available on our e-application platform. We added WoodmenLife on there today, as I mentioned. So just locate the WoodmenLife product. Again, we're going to go through this a little bit more in depth here in a little bit, but all you have to do is hit this apply now button. So this is where you're going to go to submit these applications after today's webinar. Again, I'm going to hand it over to Lance to start us off on why WoodmenLife. So Lance, I'm going to go ahead and hand the presenting skills over to you.
Yes, absolutely. Let me get that here. All right. Anna, can you see my screen just to
Yes,
confirm?
I can.
All right,
I can
wonderful.
see you and your lovely face.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you, Anna, for getting us kicked off. We are so excited. Everybody at WoodmenLife is just ecstatic about having the launch day today and being live with this WoodmenLife Medicare supplement product. There's a lot of great carriers out there where a lot of you represent or do represent today, and you might be asking yourself, why do I need another Medicare supplement carrier, right? And I get that. But I'm excited to tell you just a little bit about Woodmen briefly before we get into the meat and potatoes of this training, because I do think it's important to know who WoodmenLife is and frankly, why you would consider adding them to your briefcase. So just a few quick slides to kind of walk through who WoodmenLife is. Now, some of you may be familiar with the name WoodmenLife, some of you not. We are actually, as you can see on the slide, we are 133 years old. We actually just celebrated our birthday last month. 600 employees, most of them based in Omaha, Nebraska. There's a picture of our beautiful WoodmenLife Tower, third largest building in the city of Omaha, I believe, maybe fourth, but I know it's one or the other. And it is a wonderful opportunity in that WoodmenLife has been around a long time, selling a lot of life and annuity products through a career distribution channel. And we're very happy with that channel, but at the same time, we want to grow, we want to increase our national footprint. And so we're so excited to be partnering with Integrity with this product, with this Medicare supplement product. So one thing I like to point out is this is a wonderful opportunity for everybody on the call due to the fact that this is not an opportunity that's available to everyone. It really is an opportunity with your relationships through your partners that represent Integrity. So you don't have to worry about this being an oversaturated deal where everybody has access to it. This is a unique deal. We're excited about that. With Medicare supplement, a plan G is a plan G, right? You got to have rates, you got to have comp, but you also have to have strong ratings. And we all know there's carriers that come and go in this Medicare marketplace. I'm happy to tell you that this is not some B or C minus rated company that's just trying to get in and out the door, within 5 minutes in the med sub business. We are an A+ rated organization. As you can see on the slide, 47 consecutive years, we have been reaffirmed at that A+ ranking. So we're very happy about that. We also have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Not many carriers have that A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. We pride ourselves in giving great service and being there for the consumer as well as our agents. So we're so excited for all of you on the call to give us a chance to earn your business, because I think you're going to see that we really do put our money where our mouth is in regards to having the ability to give great service, but also have financial strength, right? That A+ rating is all about financial strength. And this is my obligatory home office wholesaler slide, right? You always have to have one slide with graphs and numbers on it. But I think this is a big one for WoodmenLife, because some of you have not heard of us, right? And so you're like, oh, okay, is this a group that's, new? Is it a group that is very small? Are they working out of somebody's garage? It's like, I always like to use that joke. As you can see on the slide, This is a sleeping giant, $11 billion of assets, A-plus rated company, almost $2 billion of surplus. What that means for all of you is we're an organization that has deep pockets. We're going to be there to be able to pay the claims. This is not a short-term deal for us. And we have money to spend on resources and platform and distribution to make this work. We are absolutely excited. This is the biggest initiative we've done in our 133-year history, and we're excited that everybody on the call is along for the ride to help us grow and become something very substantial. I've been in the business 25 plus years. I've always worked for carriers that focused on independent agent distribution. I've also worked, from an ownership standpoint, I've worked for stock companies. I've worked for a mutual company, and now I'm working for a fraternal, right? So I've actually had a chance to work for basically every type of ownership structure that we can come across in our business. I am so excited to be working for a fraternal company. But like a lot of you that may not know what that means, I didn't either. In September of last year, when I was approached with this opportunity to help grow WoodmenLife's independent agent business from scratch, I was like, what is a fraternal organization? Once I found out, I am all in, and I think you will be as well. We're always looking to be able to tell a story, right? Whether you're selling Medicare supplement or annuities or life insurance, whatever it is, we like to have a story. And I feel like WoodmenLife is a great feel-good story where we put our money where our mouth is. On the previous slide, we're a not-for-profit organization. We are a US-based organization where it truly is all about everybody on the call, your clients, and us. It is that three-legged stool. And we are committed to giving back into the communities that we sell business to. So every time you're going into the home, you're sitting at a kitchen table and you're talking to somebody about WoodmenLife, you can feel good about this is an organization it's in our charter, it's in our bylaws that we send back money for every dollar of premium we get. We're sending money back out into the communities, hunger, country, community, family. I mean, this is what it's all about, right? I mean, this is what all companies should be like this. We put our money where our mouth is. So there's plenty of opportunities to volunteer. As you can see on the slide, almost $2.4 million of volunteer hours, if you put it monetarily and monetize it, if you will. This does not include just the true dollars we send out to the communities. We actually collected over 1 million pounds of food for food pantries last year. You can see thousands of projects that we did in different parts of the country to make our country better. It's a great story that we can tell to the consumer. If you want a med sub from WoodmenLife, you are helping the communities you live in. And not only helping the communities you live in, there's something in it for you as well. So, it's a nice opportunity. I said a plan G is a plan G earlier, right? We've heard that ad nauseum. We actually offer some additional member benefits and discounts. When you buy a Medicare supplement from WoodmenLife, you automatically get access to these different benefits and discounts. A few that I like to point out: a self-service legal documentation service. It's called Law Assure. Once you buy that Medicare supplement, you have access to be able to go out and use this service to set up wills, powers of attorneys, etc. Very simply through this Law Assure. We also offer a Life's Perks discounts program. I'm actually a member of WoodmenLife now because I purchased a life insurance policy on myself. I have this discounts program. You download it to your phone. It showed me right away, Costco. I could save money with my Costco membership. I could save money with Verizon, just to name a few. So it's a wonderful opportunity to have access to a discounts program that they otherwise would not have access to if they did not buy the WoodmenLife Med Sub. We also have benefits, and a great example would be this national disaster benefit. Actually, that should be natural disaster. Apologize, I got a typo. And if you look at the next slide, I did spell it correctly here, but in the bottom left corner, natural disasters, those happen, right? We know people that have floods, a hurricane comes through, in the Midwest where I live, you have tornadoes, right? We gave out over $330,000 to approximately 450 members last year. Again, this is an additional benefit that they have access to. They purchase a MedSup, they're a member of WoodmenLife, they get access to these additional benefits. Okay, so it is something besides just talking about the price of the Plan G, you've got something else to tell the story for WoodmenLife. So 3 things I'm talking about with fraternalism. 1, it's about giving back in the communities we serve, and we put our money where our mouth is. We're giving money and time to those communities. The member benefits and extras that I just talked about on the last slide, and then last but not least, social activities. When you think of fraternal, fraternities and sororities, and some of you may have been in a fraternity or sorority last year, or in my case, many years ago. Those were social activities, right? Sometimes really social, but getting back to the slide here, we really think this is going to resonate with the demographic with Medicare supplement, right? You're talking about people 65 and older, people that have retired, they have more free time, they have the ability, and a lot of people still want to be engaged, right? They want to get involved with chapter projects or going to the chapter meetings. Or going to social events, annual regional events, or going to these senior events. I want to make it clear, this is not a cult. You do not have to do any of these things. These are all optional, but it is a wonderful opportunity where if people want to get involved in their communities and get together with like-minded people, have cups of coffee, and decide, where do we want to spend this money? Do we want to build a new playground? Do we want to fix up the old ball field, et cetera, et cetera? They can get it as involved as they want, as little or as much as they want. And I think that is a wonderful way to position this. My last slide, I'm going to turn it back over to Anna. As I said earlier, you got to have table stakes, you got to have great rates and compensation. Of course, when you're talking about MedSup, I would add 2 more, right? You got to have that A+ rating, and you got to have great service, and we're going to do that. But also, as I mentioned earlier, ownership structure, US based, not for profit. It is Main Street, not Wall Street. That's going to resonate with people. The company culture of giving back. It's about community. It's about country. It's about Americana. That is going to resonate with this demographic. And then last but not least, who doesn't like getting free stuff, right? Member extras. It's a differentiator that we have to a lot of the other carriers offering similar prices for that Plan G or Plan M or whatever it may be. So I'm excited to tell you about WoodmenLife briefly. I'm excited to turn it back over to Anna so we can learn more about how to fill out apps, but we are ready to go right now, ready to accept those apps. I'm excited to earn your business. Anna?
Thank you so much, Lance. And yes, I can attest that WoodmenLife building is nice and tall in our downtown Omaha. For those of you that didn't know, CSG Actuarial, we are also based out of Omaha, Nebraska. So they're just down the road from us. Josh, I'm going to hand over the presenter skills over to you. Josh is going to be talking with us all about the product. And Josh, go ahead and see, you got your screen pulled up. Great.
Awesome. Yep, ready to go. Lance, thank you. I love the story. I really enjoyed it. I think honestly, it is something that needs to be said. It's like you said earlier, it's one of those things to differentiate yourself in a market, in an industry where, a Plan G is a Plan G is a Plan G. What other value adds can we put out there to separate yourself and not just be another MedSup product in the market? And I love that. I think that's, and as I go through here, I think the biggest thing is, the discounts, like you said, through the life perks, but the free legal documentation service. I think that's something that needs to be hammered on a little more moving forward, is that, the demographic that we're serving here with these MedSups, with the power of attorney and the wills, the living wills, being able to offer that free to someone who's probably already going to be looking for that service at some point in the near future. Is probably one of the best value adds that you can do. I think that's just so awesome. So, and so again, and the social activities that come with being a part of this, being a member of WoodmenLife, not just being a client of carrier, but being a member of WoodmenLife, that fraternal benefits you get. So especially when we think of, clients that we serve, they want to be able to go out and have activities to do and have groups they can do it with and be a part of, because, there may be those out there that don't have the large social network that we assume that most of us have. And so again, seniors want to do that. They want to, give the opportunity to be involved, volunteer, and give back to the community, all while having the value add in that med sub coverage that they need. And so looking at some of the product overview here, I know Lance has covered this again, but the A+ AM Best rating, we know that's very important. We know having a strong financial rating is one of the key things that a lot of agents, want to be able to bring to their clients. There are those clients out there too, those seniors that, that's one of the questions they ask when dealing with an insurance agent is, what's the financial structure of this company that they're dealing with or possibly giving their business to. So we know that's important. And then one of the things we normally don't talk about, Lance said this too, but the Better Business Bureau rating, that A+ rating, I think it needs to be in the conversation, because, we want to know, and we want to give you, the agent, the trust and comfort of a product that, when you're going to those clients, that they're putting their business with someone that's going to be loyal and take care of them and give them good service. So I think that just is something that isn't talked about a lot, like Lance said, but needs to be a part of the conversation. And so, from the MedSup perspective, again, the value add that you get, I always think of this as having an elevated value, but with a lower cost. When we look at the premiums here in a minute, you're going to see just how competitive the premiums are. But that's just not it. It's not just that. We're getting all these other value adds, the extra benefits. And so that really makes this product stand out in a market that, again, can be hard to stand out in when you're really just looking at the coverage of that Plan G, or that Plan N, whatever. It's what makes them stand out? What can they add on top of that value of that premium to give more value? And then so the household discount, simply put, that 10% cohabitation, we'll get into that deeper here in a little bit as well. And then this is administered by Mutual. So a lot of this is going to look and feel the same as if you dealt with Mutual of Omaha in the past. And so, point right here, the biggest thing is this is a ground level opportunity for you, the agents. This new product going live, being able to get out there and be the first ones to market this product out of your portfolio is a huge opportunity for your business growth as an agent. And then from a footprint perspective, there's only currently 10 states live, but if you look at those red states, that are live right now as of today, there's some really good Medicare supplement states that are approved and go where you can write business in to fulfill your clients' needs. And then there are also several key states that have been filed where we're working on filing that should be hopefully in the near future live and ready to go and ready to do business in. And so there's a lot of opportunity right now with this product, and we just want to give you the information about this product, and because obviously this is a rate-driven market. So looking at, again, those few states that are live, compared to really the most of the marketplace. And so typically when we compare things against, when we look at rates, we compare things typically with, those tier ones against tier ones or tier two type carriers. But after looking and really going through the rates with this product, we wanted to compare this with the market. So we wanted to show how it stands up against the market out there. And so highly competitive straight across the board here. But what we see is when we start to compare the rates with extra benefits that women, like I said earlier, the extra benefits that they bring, the value adds to the table, you see that a client may want to pay $1 to me. You look at West Virginia, they may want to pay that extra $1, to get those extra value adds. So it's not always about the lowest rate sometimes, and that's the way it, I guess it typically has been presented is, rates, what's the premium look like. But when we put those extra benefits and those value adds on top of this, it's such a competitive product. It's such a great product because of, that being that story of, you're going to be a member of WoodmenLife. You're not just going to be a client. You're going to be a member of them, just a family. Again, Americana, like Lance said earlier. And so again, those extra value. So we look right here, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, highly competitive against the entire market. We're not looking at just the lowest rate carriers out there. We want you to see them against some of the lowest rates, but also some of those tier 1 carrier names that you see consistently. And so now diving a little bit deeper into the household discount here, standard co-hab discount, living with a spouse or roommate 60 or older, and that roommate must be living with him for 1 year or longer, except for Texas. So Texas, they simplified it even further. That roommate's just got to be 18 plus, 18 years or older. So a little bit of shift there. And then also one other thing to note here, there is an early enrollment discount. This is only available in Georgia, but those clients are going to, between 65 and 73, are going to have the opportunity to get this early enrollment discount. Starts at 12%, and it's going to decrease every year as that client ages. And there's no need to go looking for a button to click or qualifying questions. It's automatically going to be applied in the e-app, and it's already in the outline of coverage rates that you're going to see in there for Georgia. But again, this is only in Georgia. Just another one of those extra value adds, another lever to pull to give more value to your client. And then some other product details here, premium. There is a $25 policy fee. They're going to have a height and weight chart. And then that initial premium, it will be upon issue of the policy written. And then ongoing payment to ACH or check. And then Anna's going to go over a lot more of this too as she goes through the e-app process here. These rates are 12 months guaranteed. So those re-rates are only going to be issued on the anniversary policy. And then so from an agent, what does their incentives look like? $150 per underwritten case. And you only need 5 apps to qualify in a month for any sort of open enrollment, underwritten or GI, but you're only going to be paid for those underwritten cases, except for South Carolina, where there's some special rules, but they're going to do a blended rate of $40 for those 5 qualifying apps with open enrollment, underwritten or GI in South Carolina. And so with that, we'll go highlight some of the underwriting here. You're going to see 2-year look back on cancer, coronary disease, heart attack, bypass surgery, stent placement, congestive heart failure, and then they're going to do the 2x2 rule here. So no more than 2 medications for blood pressure, and no more than 2 medications for diabetes management. And to note, with no changes to the medication doses or frequency in the past 2 years. So typical from what you're going to see out there, except for one little note with the diabetes, they will consider those without complications. So if you have, clients in mind, seniors in mind that, this is going to work for them, and you're thinking about all these other value adds that you can present to them and bring to the table on top of the WoodmenLife, the great rate premiums, I think this is going to be a perfect fit for you. We believe that it's a great product, it's a great company, and we're truly excited about this product with WoodmenLife. Anna, thank you, and I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll take it over. Get my screen here pulled up for everybody. All right, so now we're getting to the good stuff. Sorry, guys. I always say the e-app's the good stuff because that's how we get that application submitted over to the carrier and then issued to your client. So I'm going to go over just some important notes as you are going through the e-application. One is make sure that you do move your effective date forward to 8/1. I'm going to show you that here in the tool. Apps are available today. Today is July 27th, so you can start submitting those applications today. When you go and you validate your appointment, make sure that you do enter in your Woodman producer number, not your NPN, your agent producing number, so your WoodmenLife producer number. This is going to be the same if you currently today have a Mutual of Omaha contract. As Josh mentioned, we are utilizing Mutual of Omaha to administer the application. So if you have a Mutual of Omaha app producer number, it is going to be the same as your WoodmenLife. If you are newly contracted, please make sure that you give us at least 24 hours before you get into the system to start submitting an application. So if you decide right after today's training you want to get contracted, wait until tomorrow to then submit the application. And then you do have to have access into Mutual of Omaha SPA account also in order to get into our application. That is how we validate your producer number. So that's why you do need access into Mutual's SPA account. A couple of things, a lot of agents ask me about the signature options. So I just wanted to highlight these here quickly for you. We will be going over 2 of these options in the real demo here. So applicant providing identification information. This would be them providing you with their mother's maiden name and the last 4 of their social security number. You have an email, and you also have a text signature link. And then the 4th option would be a wet signature. So if you wanted to fill everything out on a PDF and then print off that PDF, and then yourself and the client physically sign that piece of paper and sign it and send it in, that would be your 4th option. So if you want to do everything electronically, you have the first 3 options. We're going to go over 2 of those options in today's training. And then last but not least, CSG will also be your EAP technical support. So if you are going through the application and if you run into any technical issues, this is where CSG will step in and help you out. So I do have our phone number and our EAP support email address listed here on the screen. If for whatever reason you ever see a submission failure, it could be a connection issue or something within the application that is getting stuck. I'm going to go through a couple of what that may happen in the app to get a submission failure. So if that ever happens, our team is notified in real time of that and will be in contact with you immediately, either by phone or by email. So please don't try to resubmit the application. It just will continue failing on you. So wait to hear from us or call us directly if you do ever receive a 500 server error. Sometimes the session can time out on you, so just go ahead and refresh your page. But a lot of the times I like pointing these 2 things out because this is where we get the most questions asked. So I just like to have this slide up there for you, especially with our contact information. So I'm going to go ahead and then switch over to our e-application, and then I'm going to demo this here for you live. Because we have so many new to CSG people on today's training, I do want to go through how you run the quote first, a little bit slower for everybody. So first and foremost, when you're using CSG, you do not need to create a client ahead of time. I think that's why a lot of people like using CSG, especially just to run quotes, is you can just type in a zip code, age, gender, and tobacco status, and start looking at rates. So I'm going to enter in a West Virginia zip code here. And then once you enter in that zip code, it's going to populate the county and the city and the state in the upper right-hand corner. From there, you can adjust the age, the gender, and the tobacco status. It does default to a 65-year-old, but if you needed to adjust that, you can. And then also the plan type. It defaults to G, but you can also quote the other plan types in here as well. And then as I mentioned to you earlier, make sure you move that effective date forward to 8/1. Now, if you want to include that 10% household discount on the monthly premium, you can do that. When you get to the quote results page, if you need to switch that up and turn it on or off, you can do that. I'll show you that here in a second. Even within the e-application, if you quote without a household discount and you answer yes to the household discount question, the rate within the application is going to automatically update for you. So what's super cool about how we built in our CSG is as you are going through the application, if you make any changes, that's going to be different from that rate you quoted. Our system recognizes that. So I'm going to locate WoodmenLife here. You can see here, as Josh mentioned, that 10% household discount. He gave you that definition of the roommate, so just living with somebody over a certain age, and then that policy fee. So we document all of that in CSG, and if you ever forget, it's located right here in the quoting tool for you. Over here on the left-hand side, this is where if you wanted to apply that 10% discount, you can hit Apply Discounts. And now when I find the WoodmenLife application, it goes down to $95.02. So that's how I'm going to recommend you quoting it within CSG. And then when you're ready to do the application, all you have to do is hit this Apply Now button. So this is where I'm going to move over to my testing environment here. That way I can submit an application start to finish without any complications. So I'm going to hit that Apply Now button. And then as I mentioned, the first thing it's going to ask is for your producer number. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and enter in my Woodman producer number. And then I'm going to hit Update. Now, after you hit update, the system is now going to remember this producer number. So you don't have to enter it in every single time, but we do ping their database to validate that your contract is still active. So it does take about 5 to 10 seconds to get you into the application because we're validating your contract in real time. So once you get into the e-application, I'm going to make my screen just a little bit bigger for you here. Now, navigation here, I can click on these 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner just to make my screen a little bit bigger for you. So it carries over your agent ID here. So you will have your name and your producer number, so you can validate that's still you. And then over here on the right-hand side is your quote. So whatever you quoted in CSG, that carries over into your premium here. So I clicked apply now for a plan without the household discount. And then from your overview section, you have these initial documents. So if you need a copy of the outline of coverage, the guide, the disclosures, you can grab those there. And then you can also send those via email if you need to. From there, you'll have your sections that you'll go through and complete. Now, the sections are grayed out until I enter in my underwriting type over here on the left-hand side. So we're only going to show you sections that you have to complete for that underwriting type. What's also really cool about this is we're going to notify you of any errors in the application. So sometimes that error could be you selected the wrong underwriting type. We'll show you that here in your notifications. If you answer yes to an automatic decline health question, we're going to notify you of that. So it's really a smart app. We want to make sure that all of your applications are submitted in good working order. So I'm going to go through this application start to finish. I'm going to show you some of these notifications that you may see and just easy ways to navigate through the application. So underwriting type, fully underwritten, open enrollment, or GI. If you're not sure your underwriting type, click on this little eye icon and it's going to give you a brief description of each one. In this case, I'm going to first select open enrollment. And then for my plan eligibility, I'm going to answer yes to these questions and enter in 8-1 for both my Part A and Part B dates. You can either use the drop down or you can type. Either one will work. And then as soon as you enter that in, you can then hit continue. As I hit continue, my sections over here on the right-hand side will now populate. So it's only going to show me sections that are pertaining to an open enrollment. If I would have selected fully underwritten, I would have a health question section, I would have a medication section. So it really depends on your underwriting type that you select. So now you can see these sections populated here for me. A green check mark means that section is good to go. An orangish yellow icon means that there's an error or missing information in that section that we have to go through and complete. Now, as you're going through this application, you can hop around to different sections, come back to a section if you need to, and then everything automatically saves. So as you go through a section, you hit that complete button, it's going to save everything for you. So all of your applications, incomplete or submitted, will store within your e-applications on that dashboard page, which I will show you here in a little bit as well. So I'm going to show you a couple of errors before I start filling out this application. So let's say I go back to my underwriting situation here. And let's say I selected fully, I'll select guarantee issue because that's kind of an item that gets pulled up a lot. So let's say I select guarantee issue with my plan eligibility being the same, and I hit continue. I'm going to get a notification letting me know that I'm actually in an open enrollment and not a guarantee issue situation. I'm going to first show you that error that will populate for you. The errors come up in a nice green box. Sorry, not green box, red box. See if it populates for me. I'm going to go back and select a different one here. I haven't answered all the questions, so it's probably not going to populate for me yet. Let's do fully underwritten. Let's see here. All right, here you go. So here's your red notification box. Based on the information you have entered, you are currently eligible for open enrollment. Please change your underwriting situation on the select underwriting situation screen. So now I have that notification here that pops up based upon my underwriting type. And then additionally, for the fully underwritten apps, you will have a health information section and your medication section. So this is where you will be able to see all of the different health questions on the application. I know Josh highlighted a couple of them for you during his portion of the presentation, but if you wanted to see any questions that are going to be an automatic decline, we do notify you as you're answering those questions. But you can see here we have a Part A medical questions. If yes is answer to any of the following questions, that person is not eligible for coverage. And then you also have your Part B section that says if you answered yes, they may not be eligible for coverage. So we're letting you know ahead of time if you would get a decline. So let's say I do answer yes to one of these questions, and then I hit continue. I am also going to receive a notification letting me know of that possible decline. Again, we're trying to notify you of any errors in the application prior to your submission. So the application may not be issued coverage because you answered yes to at least one health question. Okay, so here are just two examples. I like to just point out a couple of them during the webinar, just so you are comfortable if you do see those, just knowing that technology is built into the system. If you do have to enter in medications, we do have that medication section here for you to enter those in. All you have to do is start by typing in the drug name, and then it will populate your different options for you here as well. And then you'll just go through filling out the rest of the question. So even if you spell the drug name wrong or you don't know how to spell it, as soon as you start typing it, we'll show you the options there. All right, I'm going to go back to my underwriting situation, and I'm going to remove those and just show you that as you change it, those notifications would then go away for you. I'm going to go back to my open enrollment, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And then all the notifications will go away since I don't have to do underwriting, and then I'm going to do an open enrollment application. Now, as we're going through the application, you'll notice that there's these red asterisks. These red asterisks are going to be all of our required fields. So I'm going to start by filling out this application, everything with a red asterisk. You'll notice here you could change your plan type if you wanted to. So if you initially quoted a G, you want to move that over to an N. As soon as you hit continue, it would update the premium over there on the right-hand side to reflect the new plan change. So enter in the resident address. It carries over the zip, the city, and the state from the quote. If they do have a PO box that they prefer to use for their mailing, you can answer yes and then enter in that different mailing address. Now, your home phone number and your email address, this is something that really comes into play when you're doing the different signature options. So if you are going to be doing this by email, make sure you have the proper client's email address located in this email address section. Age, gender, date of birth, and then we'll enter in the height and weight. And then here's a tobacco question. So I'm going to have that answered as no. And then if you want to receive the explanation of benefits online, I'm going to hit yes. And then it does ask if you are a member of the Women of the World Life Insurance Society. Even if they are not a member, you can still hit no, and then it still will allow you to submit the application. They will then become a member of all the great member benefits that Lance shared with us here today. So now I have that green check mark. That's letting me know that section is good to go for the applicant information. Now here's the household discount premium. So if they are eligible for that household discount and you say yes, so you ask them that question of living with somebody, they answer yes, you then fill out that individual's name. I'm going to type in her husband's name here. And then I'm going to hit continue. It will then update the premium over here on the right-hand side. So you can see it went down to that $95.03. So now you know that you are quoting, and you can let them know that quote has been updated for them to reflect that household discount. Now, Medicare information, the Social Security number and Medicare claim number are 2 required fields. It is going to make sure that you type in everything correctly. So no dashes, everything is going to be in capital letters as well. And if you did not have the right number, it would tell you that it is not in the right format there. So we do have safeguards in place for that as well. Your Medicare Part A and Part B effective dates carry over. And then I will answer yes to the open enrollment questions. Now I'm going through this pretty quickly. So if you need to ever get into this application and just kind of get familiar with all of the screens, a couple of things I'm going to point out to you. But you see this air here, this yellow air icon? I'm going to go back to that section. It looks like I missed a particular field there. In the handout section, we do have, if I mix his date of birth up. In the handout section, we have a PDF tutorial that goes over all of the screens for you. So if you want to grab that handout that I have in the handout section, also you can come in here and start an application and just review all of the screens, and then you can always delete that application, just don't submit it. And I'll show you that here in a little bit as well. Previous or existing coverage information. As you answer yes to one of these questions, additional fields would populate. So if I answer yes to if you're on another Medicare supplement plan, it is going to ask you what company and plan, and then your dates according to that. So again, as you answer certain questions, additional fields would populate. If they're coming off their group plan, you can answer yes to this, and then enter in that group plan's name and policy as well. I'm just going to answer no to these questions, and then I'm going to hit continue. Now, as I mentioned, you can kind of hop around the different sections if you need to. It's really easy just to navigate through it. This is a section I always like to stop on, the method of payment section, because I know a lot of you may start and fill out an application for your client, and maybe you're waiting for their payment information, or maybe you're waiting for them to be available to do their signature. This is the case where your application stores automatically saves for you, and it saves in your e-applications panel. So when you sign into the CSG tool, you had your options for Medicare supplement quoting. There's also an e-application icon there for you. So in that e-applications icon, all of your applications will store for you. So you can see here I have some incomplete apps, and I also have all of my submitted apps with their policy numbers. So we store everything for you. All of your incomplete applications will store for 90 days in the system. Here's where I showed you where you can always delete an application that you started. And then to go back into the application that you started, all you have to do is hit that edit icon. And it will take you right back into exactly where you left off. So it took me right to my method of payment section. This next section is going to first ask you if you want to do a wet signature. So as I mentioned, one of the first signature options was that wet signature. This would be if you wanted to print off the application and have your client physically sign that piece of paper and you send it in. So depending on if you answer yes or no to that, you do get different payment options. If you answer yes, they can pay that initial premium by check because you would send in that check with that application. Otherwise, I can hit no, and then I just have that automatic bank withdraw. From there, you can choose a checkings or a savings account. So I'm going to choose checking there. And then to enter in the banking information, you can either start by typing in that bank name or type in the routing number. Either option will populate your banks, and then the account number. Now, we do not validate the billing information. Mutual of Omaha will be doing that. So if you ever need to make changes to that, they would be in contact with you. First name, this is also really important for the first name. Please only put one first name in here. So if Jane and Bob are sharing a bank account, just put Jane's name. You may receive a submission failure if you put Jane and Bob. The system, how we send the data over to Mutual in real time, doesn't like those and sign or spaces and names. So just put one first name here. And then how you wish to use your ongoing payment options. So whether that's direct mail, you can do that, 3, 6, and 12 months, or we can use our automatic bank withdrawal and continue using that, and then pick the day or the week that we want that withdrawn. So from there, I'll go ahead and hit continue. Again, the goal is to have those green check marks on every single section here. The to be completed by a producer section, depending on where you want the certificate delivered to. Here is your underwriting notes. So if you were going through underwriting and you answered yes to a certain health question, you maybe want to explain that a little bit further. This is where you could add in any producer comments to underwriting and also upload any documents. Now you can only upload PDF documents to here. So you would get a submission failure if you tried to use a PNG file or a JPEG. That would cause a submission failure. So you can only upload PDFs here. And then once you're all done, you'll go ahead and hit verify application. And then verify application just gives you one last opportunity to review that start to finish. From here, again, reviewing every section. If you wanted to edit, you can either hit that edit section or you can select this section over here on the right-hand side. From there, I'm going to hit lock and e-sign. Again, if I was going to do that wet signature option, that's where you have the print for signature. So you're going to see that across the board until we get to that submission, in case you ever change your mind. This is just agreeing to do the electronic signature. So you can hit accept and then continue. And then we will get right into our signature options. So remember, as I said, electronically, there's 3 options. If you're in the same physical location, you can hit yes. And then if you're face-to-face with them, you have all 3. Applicant providing identification information, email, or text. Now today I'm going to go over the applicant providing identification information and then the email signature link. And then keep in mind the screens for the text are the exact same as the email. The only difference is the link and code is sent to their cell phone as a text message instead of as an email. So I'm going to select yes, I'm in the same physical location. Applicant provide identification information. And then what I will do with the client is I will open up all of these forms. So I'm going to open up the outline, the terms and disclosures, the application, and the payment authorization. Now, when you open up these documents, again, you have to download them and provide them over to your client. You'll notice everything is filled out here on the WoodmenLife application. So it's a nice document just to have on file for you and the client. And then you will check mark, I have received, read, and kept a copy of the above documents. And then their signature would be their mother's maiden name. So I'll ask Jane, what is your mother's maiden name? She will tell me it is Wilson. I'll type Wilson in, and then I'll ask her, and what are your last 4 digits of your social security number again? Although it's a required field on the application, it is part of their signature as well. So you will type in those last 4 digits, acknowledging the city and the state that they're signing in. Apply e-signature, and then it will carry over your producer name and your producer number. From there, you'll hit apply e-signature and then sign application. So again, in-person steps, opening up all the documents and then using their mother's maiden name and the last 4 digits of their social security number to sign. Once you have done that, it will say preparing application, and then it will also provide you another opportunity to view all of those documents. So this takes about 15 seconds here to prepare the application. Once it is done preparing, it will give you the notification that the application has been submitted, and it will provide you that policy number as well. So we submit all the data over to Mutual of Omaha in real time. You can see here, thank you for submitting the application, and then you have your policy number for reference. And then when I get into view applications, I will be able to see that within my e-applications panel. See here, it says submitted with that policy number. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly show you, I know we only have 5 minutes left here, so I'm going to show you the email signature option as well. That's always a very popular option if you are not in person with them and needing them to sign. I also feel like that's the one that you can't really see what the screens are, so it's always a great one to go ahead and demo for you. So I'm going to go through those same processes. One thing I do want to remember to point out on here is make sure you have the correct email. I'm putting in my personal Gmail email in here so I can show you these screens. Once you get to the e-sign, you won't be able to change that email. You would have to go back in and edit the application. So just make sure that that's verified before you get into the email signature. It will save you a lot of time there. I'm going to accept the terms there, and then I'm going to hit continue. Now this one, I'm going to say I'm not in the same physical location. You'll notice that email carries over as I mentioned. So if I hit email link, that carries over. I cannot change this. If I need to edit this, I would have to hit this edit application down here at the bottom. If I was using the text signature, it does carry over the phone number. This is one you can change in case they had their home phone number in the application and you need to change it over to their cell phone. So if they don't want to have their cell phone on their application, that's where you can change it. So let's do email link, apply e-signature, and then sign application. So you, the agent, has already signed it. As soon as your client signs it, it will then be submitted. So you don't have to do anything after your client signs. Now, it's really, really important to note that if you are doing an email or a text, they have a 2-hour window to sign their application. So this will now say the application is pending the applicant's signature. So if I go back to view my applications, my application will still say incomplete. And then once they have signed it, it will then change to submitted. So right there it says incomplete. As I mentioned, they have a 2-hour window to sign. If it's past that 2-hour window, their verification code will not work. You will have to hit resend signature to John Smith. Okay, so that's really important to note there. As I pull up my email, I'm going to explain a couple of other things over to you. As soon as you submit it in CSG, we ask for a 24-hour update before you can view it on Mutual SPA portal. So that's something to keep in mind. And then you will always check your final status on SPA. Once it's been submitted on our system, we're done with it. So in order to check if it's been issued, going through underwriting, you will have to check the SPA portal. So this is the email your client will receive. It will have WoodmenLife Medicare Supplement e-application verification. Gives them that notice the code will expire in 2 hours. So they'll copy that code, they'll click on verify signature, and then they will type in their verification code and then their date of birth. The date of birth on this also has to match the date of birth on the application. So if they're going to verify it's within that 2-hour window and it still won't verify, you have the wrong date of birth in the application. You would have to edit the application and then resend it over to the client. Go ahead and have them agree to the terms of use. And then after they agree to the terms of use is where they get to their signature. Same concept where they have to open up all of the documents, and all of those documents will then turn green. Once they open up all the documents, they will click, I have received, read, and kept a copy of the above documents, and then they will just acknowledge the city and the state that they're signing in. Just gonna type in this for now, speed things up. Click apply e-signature, and then they'll hit sign application. So your client has 3 steps. They have to verify with their code and their date of birth. They have to agree to do the electronic signature. And then the third would be that process where they opened up and reviewed all of the documents, and then check mark, acknowledge the location, and then sign. So if you're ever on the phone with the client and they're saying, I can't check mark something, it's likely that they did not open up all the documents. So just make sure you have the green lines on everything. That's normally the case there. So says that the policy has been submitted with that policy number, and then they also have the documents that they can go ahead and review. So if I refresh my page here, it will then say status of submitted, and we are at our hour. I was like, let's get through both of these here. So there are two ways that you can go ahead and use your signature options submitted there. Both your policy numbers, again, to check the final status of the application, you will check on mutual SPA account for that. I just want to wrap things up. Thank you, Lan, so much for going through and answering the questions that came in. I truly appreciate that. That always speeds things up a little bit for me too. You will all receive a copy of today's presentation. So if you need to re-watch this at all, you absolutely can do that. I just want to thank Lance and Josh for your guys' time here today. And thank you all of your agents. If you want to just quickly see how competitive WoodmenLife is, check this out. This is their competitive math that I did for a female age 65 household discount. I compared them to Aetna, Cigna, Mutual of Omaha, and United Healthcare. If you're not familiar with CSG, you can create competitive heat maps if you want to know more about that. But I thought this was a nice slide to show them just how competitive they are. We're comparing them to everybody in the market, as well as some of the carriers that Josh was showing. So a lot of good things there. To wrap up, I'm going to leave our EAP technical support here on the line. And Lance or Josh, any last comments before I close out today's training?
No, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to get in front of the agents and just explain a little bit more why we're so excited about this product with WoodmenLife. Lance has been a huge support for us to lean on and reach out to and get answers, and you know, the eagerness of him that wants to get in front of everybody himself. That's a tall task, but he's willing to take that on, and we greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Lance.
Well, thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Thanks, Anna.
Yes, you're welcome. And again, we are here to help you. So if you have any questions as you're going through the application, feel free to reach out to CSG directly. I have our phone numbers. If you have any product related questions, I know Josh is a great resource. Your upline is also a great resource as well. And then as I close out today's training, a survey will pop up. One of the questions is if you need more information on WoodmenLife. So if you would like to know more information, hit yes, and we'll make sure that somebody reaches out to you to contact you. So thank you so much. Get contracted today, submit your applications tomorrow, and then more after that. So we'll see you guys all later. Bye-bye.